Hello, my name is Grace. I'd like to share my story to encourage somebody out there who may be feeling that life is a burden, or life has you feel you've come to an end, or you feel that there are too many issues. But I have come to learn that life is a journey, and what you take one day at a time, and every day when you wake up, there's a song that I learned to listen. Great is thy faithfulness, and that is what I wake up with every morning. It took me a while to come to this state, and I had also taken a lot for granted at that time. Now, I will start from the beginning of, I would say, I'm a nurse by profession. I've worked for over 35 years, and our body normally sends messages to us when it's not well, and we keep ignoring. Now, my husband had an issue with his stomach for several years, and we kept going to the doctors, and they had even diagnosed that he had appendicitis, and they removed his appendix. Well, it was taken to the lab. It was found that it was normal, and but he continued having issues with his stomach, and he was supposed to be done colonoscopy the first for some period of time. He was not willing to have it done, so we kept having stool tests that were done, and nothing was coming out of the stool tests until uh, one morning he was supposed to go for a colonoscopy, and he didn't turn up. So he had something else to do, and it was a job. It was job related, so he didn't go for the colonoscopy. And while he was away, his arm started paining, and he took some painkillers. The pain didn't go away, so he went for some X-ray, and when the X-ray was done, it showed that there was a tumor. I mean the bone. The bone had been eaten, so a biopsy was taken, and when tests were done, he was found to have a cancer, stage 4, and now we had to start running up and down. No, it's not even stage 1, stage 2, it's stage 4. So we asked the hard questions, and we were told that for us to get proper treatment, we had to have a PET scan done, as that we would be able to have better treatment, and to be well managed. So at that time, there was no PET scan in Kenya, so we decided to go to India. Now we started our journey to go to India. At the same time, my mother had a hip fracture, and she also had been in bed for about 3 years, and she had already started the process of going to India before we discovered my husband was sick, because even her, she had a plate put, and the healing was not well. So due to her age, she was about 70 years, she was not willing to be operated again here in Kenya. So he had already started her process to go to India in December, and then I discovered that my husband had cancer in November. So now, here we are, having 2 patients to go to India. One we already know has cancer, and my mother, we know that it's just a bone issue. So we went to India, me, my husband, my sister, and my sister-in-law. So we were 5 of us, and we landed there on December 25th. We went straight to the hospitals, and they were done tests, and by first, my mother had already been taken to theater, and my husband had already started chemotherapy. So we continued with the treatment, and my husband, while he was having the chemo done, my mother was already discharged, and at the apartment where we were staying, And before we left, she broke her arm. So we knew there was a problem with her bones. So when we started asking, when will the surgery for the arm be done, is when further tests were done and we were told that she was also having multiple myeloma, which is also another type of cancer, stage 4. Now, we had already stayed for over a month and already her surgery had been done, and when she was started on chemo, unfortunately, her organs started failing, and she went to ICU. She had all the failures, kidney failure, everything. So she was in ICU. She was in the vent, and she passed on in India. And when she passed on, here in Kenya, we had left my father-in-law. And when he heard that my mother had passed away, I would assume that he got a shock, and 3 days later we lost my father. So here I am with my mother dead and my father-in-law. Both are gone. And I'm also dealing with my husband on chemotherapy, stage 4. And so we made arrangements. My mother came back. We were left there continuing with the therapy, and we came back and buried my mother. By the time we were coming back, I was already sick. I was already having fevers, I was having chest pains, and I was not well. I was not well at all. So I buried my mother and I was admitted in hospital. And when we went to bury my father, a few weeks later, I was already in hospital. So my father was being buried in Machakos, and I was admitted in a Bristol hospital in Machakos. Then, when they went to the mortuary, unfortunately, there was a body mix-up. So my father-in-law had been married by another family accidentally. So we had to go to court, get a court order to exhume the other bodies. We finally located him and were able to continue with our funeral. All this time, I am coming in and out of hospital. So, I was discharged from hospital at Bristol. I attended the funeral. The same night, I came back to Nairobi and was admitted. All this time, I'm having severe chest pains. I'm having fevers. I'm having blood infection. My blood pressure is dropping, is going down. And I'm being put on high doses of antibiotics, and they're telling me I have a cardiac infection. So, I came, I was done some tests for my heart, yet they could not see anything. I was done an ECG echo, I was done testing current, nothing was seen. Yet, I was not well. I was given IV drugs, 4 hourly, 6 hourly, nothing was working. I was put on TB treatment, my liver rejected the drugs, I became jaundiced, they discontinued the treatment. So, my husband decided, let us go back to India because you're not well and I need to go for a checkup. So we went for our second trip. When we reached there, before we reached there, let me take us back. Here in Kenya, we had a lot of love. A lot of people supported us. Thank you very much, all our friends, our relatives, my workmates, and Kenyans. So, at the airport, my bag, when we were going through the security check, one of the guards took my wallet from my bag. All the money that I was carrying was taken at the airport, at the entrance, where we are told, please get out of the car. You take a walk as they check the car. The guard who examined my car went with my wallet. With all the money that I had fundraised, the money that I had gained by friends, or everything went. So, I was getting in an aeroplane with no money. And I would like to thank my friend called Esther Thayu. She's the one who called me when I was at the airport and encouraged me to get in the plane. I would also like to thank Ongata Rungai Chapel, because they did a fundraising for me immediately, and we got in the plane. By the time I was reaching the other side, I had a little bit of money to sort me out. So, when we reached India, we found the doctor who was treating us initially had relocated to another hospital. So we followed him there, and we stayed in another hotel, not the previous hotel that we had stayed with our mother, because now he had moved to another city. So that we still continued with the same doctor, who was very good, and we did more tests, and unfortunately we found that now my husband also had another cancer, but this time it was stage 1, colon cancer. So they needed to operate on him, and they needed also to have chemotherapy done after the surgery. We didn't have money, but somehow or the other, our friends came through for us, and we were able to do everything. We did the surgery, and we did the chemo. Now for me, I'm still getting worse. My chest pains are getting worse. I saw a cardiologist who advised some tests to be done, and I was found to have 3 blood vessels in my heart that were blocked, and I needed to be done stenting. That means they were putting some devices in my heart. I didn't have the money. So, another person I'd like to thank is Lynn Gugi. My son went to Tuko, and thank you, Kenyans. I was able to have my operation, and I'm good to go. Now, when we were there, I realized that it's not easy. We were admitted, me and my husband, we were side by side in hospital with just the 2 of us. But Kenyans came to visit, to encourage courage. And then, where I was staying with some. In India, when you stay, you can share an apartment, a 3-bedroom apartment, and each bedroom has its own bathroom. So you don't share the bathroom. The only thing you share is a sitting room and a kitchen. Where I was staying, I stayed with a Nigerian and a Russian. And what is interesting, when I met this Russian, we were going to the same doctor, and the apartment I was staying, they started raising rent every day, and they would harass that they want us to pay per day. And because my husband was in hospital, I could not move. The minute he was discharged, I went to my other hotel where we had formed rapport with the landlord, and he allowed us to stay for as long as we could without paying. And he did not harass us. He was very friendly, and he even gave us a discount because we stayed there from July until December. Now, this Russian was also undergoing the same problem with these Indians who kept hiking rents every other day. So when I went to see my doctor, she approached me and she asked me, "Where did you go?" Although she could not talk English, but somehow we communicated. Her English was not good. She asked me, where you go? I told her, other home. Then she told me, take me. So I said, good, go. So I helped her to move from that apartment where they were charging a lot, and we were staying together. We were staying in an apartment with a Russian and a Nigerian. The Russian had brought her daughter, who had a tumor in the kidneys. Unfortunately, the daughter had a poor prognosis, so she was told to go back to Russia, and she was just put on a few drugs just to ease her pain. And for the Nigerian, the husband was doing well, and initially the husband had come alone. And because when you're in India, as I said earlier, there's a lot of love. The husband had come alone, and the wife had been left behind. He had insisted on coming alone to be done tests. When the tests were done, he was told that the cancer had spread. He became very depressed. He was not eating well. So me and my Russian friend, we decided to cook for him. So we would make sure that he eats breakfast before he leaves. And because he would go to hospital the whole day, in the evening when he would come, he would lock himself up. So we would knock the door and ensure that he has eaten, because we did not know whether he had eaten anything the whole day. So this went on for a whole week, and we kept asking him to make sure that the wife has come. And when he looked like he was reluctant, we kept insisting, and we talked to our husbands, who also talked to him, and finally the wife came. So she was also able to take care of him. So we were living like a family. We took care of each other, and we would share meals. So one day the Nigerian would cook her own Nigerian food. Sometimes there's a fish they cook that is very smelly. We were not used to eating it, and somehow we would avoid eating the meal, but we would still tolerate each other and love each other. The Russians' food was very oily, and also he had issues, but somehow you'd adapt to their type of cooking. So now, when each one of us was down, we would sit, have prayers together. The lady was Muslim, but somehow or the other, we shared prayers, we shared our sorrows, our joys, our families, we shared our fears. So in the evening, we sat together and ate as a family. So each one of us was supporting the other. and each one of us was able to take care of each other. And because sometimes they would be told to take drugs and you'd be discharged on IV drugs, me being the nurse, I was able to offer my services free of charge, because there they charge everything. And then when the nurses come home, they charge a lot to give you drugs at home. So basically, I had already advertised myself. I was able to take care of some of the patients who are around me, and I was able to assist where I could. And for the ones who are staying in the same apartment, we were able to help each other. Even financially, you'd find sometimes one did not have money and the tests were due, so they would loan you the money and then you would refund when your money came. So we worked together and we stayed together as a family. Now, when it came for my turn to be admitted, and I didn't have anybody. Initially, my son was supposed to come and take care of me. They had even taken passports, both of them. One was to come back with the father, and the other one was to take care of me. We realized it was not financially, we were not able to meet the tickets, and also it was not a good decision that they come. And even this Nigerian and the Russian told me they would help me for the time of recovery, and they also understood that it was training us. So my sons did not come. Now the Russian is the one who used to do the cooking, the Nigerian would do the washing. And they took care of us until I was able to recover, despite that the Russian was told to go home, her daughter will not recover, and they will not give her any more treatment. I mean, it is better for her to go home than waste more money in India. She offered to stay for an extra 2 weeks to take care of me, but it ended up being almost a month before she went home. And I will be eternally grateful to her. So, cancer teaches you a lot of love. It teaches you that you're not alone. And you realize that most people out there are going through the same thing. It's only that when you do not reach out or you do not talk about it, you will think that you're all alone. But there's a lot of love out there. There are even groups, cancer groups. I have joined 2. And anytime I'm down, I pass a message. It's a WhatsApp group. And we talk to each other and we encourage each other and we advise each other. So you will never be alone. And when you are able to talk honestly what you're going through, you will be able to get the correct support and you'll be able to get the correct advice. So now when you are there, I have gone through my surgery. My husband has also gone through the surgery. And now it is time to recover. So when we were recovering, the Russian went back and I was left with a Nigerian who also went away, and some Kenyans came and we continued living together. And it was an experience like no other. And I would also want to say the Indians there are so loving. It is unbelievable. When I lost my mother, they came and we did a wake with them. They stayed with us and they prayed with us. We have a church, ANDF church. Thank you very much. I'd also like to grow in Gurgon. They were unbelievable. They were doing home visits. They were doing hospital visits. They were doing prayers for us. And they had events, family events. We'd go and join them. They had group outings. We'd go with them. They took us as one of them. And even their pastor, I'm happy to say, came to Kenya to visit us, to experience the Kenya as a country. And he stayed in our home, all the way from India, to come and visit us as a family and show us love and show us support. So, when you start a journey, when you feel like you're alone, you're never alone. In this world, you're never alone. When it rains, it pours. And there's always someone out there who will hold your hand and who will lead you on. and who will support you. I have friends who I have never met until today, and we only met through Tuko, or they saw us through the hospital, and or others we linked up still, and we still communicate. And I would like to say thank you to those friends. They know themselves. Thank you, because you still check up on us, you still say hi, you still want to find out how we are doing. We have never met physically, we just talk online. Thank you, and God bless you all. My cardiac issue is now, I would say it's for life. I go to the clinics, I'm on treatment, and it's manageable. My husband also, he still goes for tests, he still goes for PET scan. When we came back, it came up again. He's gone for radiotherapy, he's still on chemotherapy. So life is a journey. You take one day at a time. It is 3 years down the line, we are going to the 4th year, we are still moving on, and we are still strong. So cancer is about love, it's about life, and it's about taking care of each other and supporting each other. So you will never be alone. You just need to reach out and know that take one day at a time. It is just one day at a time. And please, just remember, you're not alone. And greatest of all, have faith in God. Because God is a provider. He never fails. And great is thy faithfulness. I stayed in India from July to December. I came on December. I had no shilling in my pocket. I ate. I slept. I got my whole treatment. My husband got his whole treatment. And on top of that, ticket was paid. I came back with drugs for 6 months, my cardiac drugs, and my husband drugs, whatever he needed, for 6 months. And last but not least, is that my son was graduating. He was in university. Throughout my sickness, it is a 1-year journey, because we went in a December, came here just for the funeral, and went back to India and came back in December. So it is a 1-year journey. My husband was sick, I was sick, and my children took care of us. There were bills to be paid. They never slept hungry. And to crown it all, my son was graduating. The university he was in paid all the arrears, paid for his final exams, and also held a graduation party for him. I did not have a shilling in my pocket. I did not have a shilling in my pocket. It was all provided by God. Great is thy faithfulness. I live with that every day. Right now, I am not working. COVID came. Due to my status of my heart, and by the way, I also became diabetic because of the high drugs I was given, the high doses of steroids. When I was sick with my temperatures, I became diabetic. So now I am hypertensive, I am diabetic, and I have cardiac issues. Yet, great is thy faithfulness is my motto. I am living, I'm a living testimony that God can provide, and it is possible. And cancer is love, and whatever you're suffering from, whatever you're going through, it is just a journey. You take one day at a time. It will come to pass. And I am doing this to give everybody encouragement. Wherever you are, it is not over until God says it is over. It is never the end, it is just the beginning. Whatever you're going through is a testimony to encourage another person. It is a way to be able to tell somebody else that it is possible. Because I know it is possible. And I know you can overcome it. And I know that God is faithful. And I know that as long as you wake up, you have something to look forward to. Do not stay in bed. Do not keep quiet. Get out of that bed. Get out of wherever you are. Talk about it. Kenyans are loving, they give. When you're genuine, they give. We are a country that love, and we are a country full of love. They give, and you will never be alone. I bless you all, and I know it is possible with God. Anything is possible. Thank you. Through my journey, I have had people who have helped me that I cannot forget to thank, that held my hand when I was low. They are my special friends. They are also relatives, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins. I cannot name each one of you because you played a big role in supporting me in this journey. And it is not over. We always support each other as friends and relatives. And there are some who still are helping me along the journey, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. We and my family, we will forever remain indebted to you. There are also some people who are always in my mind, and I am always thankful, and I will not, we do not take it for granted, because it is a sacrifice and it is a journey that until it is complete, we all are on a path. In India, there are some special people I will always remember. There is my pastor Malik Niraj, who is in the Gurgon Church, and Emmanuel with their wives, and all the people who were congregating with us and fellowshipping with us, who came for the wake of my mother, and who held our hands with prayers, and also visited us in the hospitals, and especially Pastor Emmanuel, who came back home to Kenya to visit our home and to celebrate with us Christmas in the African way. Thank you very much. I will always eternally be grateful to you. You followed us back home and gave us comfort. There's also Amita, and there's also Deepak. There's also our doctor, Randip, and Sunil, and the nurses, all of them, who provided us with care 24 hours. And until today, we still call and they still support us. Whatever questions we have to ask, they are always a phone call away. They made us a family, and we still remember. Anytime I get stuck, I am able to call and they're able to help. Thank you very much. Even when they visited Kenya, Deepak and Amita, thank you very much. They were our hosts. They were the ones who were medical agents, and they were the ones who were taking care of us. They have followed us home, and wherever they come to visit, they always have time to say hi and have a meal with us. Thank you very much. India is a family. I would also like to say to my Nigerian friend called Elizabeth, and then there's also the Russian who's called Chosic. I'm never able to pronounce her name, so I used to call her she, because it's a heavy name in my tongue, being a Kikuyu. So I used to call her she instead of Shoshist or something. I am not able to pronounce it. Thank you very much for taking care of me when I was down, and the sacrifice you made to make sure that I was on my feet. I'd also like to thank my workmates who have contributed a lot to my well-being when I was working with you. And there's especially one, Jane Karani. You followed me. Until today, you still follow me. Thank you very much, my dear friend. I love you for everything you've done for me. And may God bless you and your husband. give you abundantly provide for you abundantly all your needs. And there's also my church. I still always will always be with you, fellowship with you, still holding my hands when I'm up and down. Pastor Zach, thank you very much. Warindi Fellowship, thank you very much. The whole church that has helped me through my journey, and we are still together. We're still going up and down. We have not ended. Our journey is still here on earth. Thank you very much for holding my hand. And my friends, my relatives, Eunice, Modoni, you're an angel. Thank you very much for all that you have done for me. Julius with your wife, thank you very much for all that you have done for me. There are so many. I cannot name each one of you. Thank you very much. And you forever be indebted to you. May God bless you all.